It looks like time is finally running out for David. After months of silence and a deferred autopsy, the walls aren't just closing in. They're being reinforced by a Los Angeles grand jury. As of late December 2025, the LAPD Robbery Homicide Division has shifted this from a missing persons case into a full-blown murder investigation, and they aren't working alone. While the case is currently moving through the state courts under LA County DA Beth Silverman, the fact that 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was missing for over a year and her body was found in a car registered in Texas has the feds standing by. A grand jury at the state level is the final step before an arrest warrant is issued, and with David's own manager already being grilled under oath, the question isn't whether an arrest is coming. It's whether he'll be facing a state judge or a federal one.
The body was found inside a car at a Hollywood tow lot today. Los Angeles investigators identifying the remains as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas.
But now they're trying to figure out how she ended up dead in his Tesla.
I didn't kill her physically, but in the back of my mind, she died. So it's not like the thought of her is gone by itself was something that she did. It was something that I decided to do. And I killed her in the back of my mind.
It was you, and I didn't even regret it.
On September 8, 2025, Los Angeles authorities discovered the decomposed body of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, a missing teen from Lake Elsinore, inside the front trunk of a Tesla, registered to 20-year-old singer David Burke, better known as D4VD, whose songs Romantic Homicide and Here With Me made him a viral star. The car, abandoned in the Hollywood Hills and later impounded after neighbors reported a foul odor, led investigators to identify Rivas, who had vanished in April 2024, and to launch a homicide investigation. Detectives have since searched a Hollywood Hills home linked to D4VD and seized evidence, but while the case is active and suspicious, no charges have yet been filed against the artist or anyone else, and the official cause of death remains undetermined.
With charges officially coming forward, let's break down the timeline of this case. Shout out to the Reddit for putting this all together. So David and Celeste met in 2021 or early 2022. He was 16 and she was 11 years old. Fast forward, he's 20 and she's 16. This is what you call grooming. They met on Fortnite and this was confirmed by multiple friends. David made her make a Discord and that's where they started talking. Now we're going to fast forward through this timeline because it's a lot of lyrics and stuff. They basically were dating, right? He got her a ring. She was on the live stream with him, went to shows with him. They were official. And it's disgusting. She ran away from home multiple times to his apartment, stayed with him. The age gap, it just makes it so disgusting, right? On top of that, there's a high possibility that she was actually pregnant, and that might be a motive of this crime. And the only reason we're saying that is because David was in his Discord asking, his followers for baby name ideas. Now, December 30th, 2024, this is allegedly the last photo taken of Celeste. This photo was obtained by Stephen Fisher, the private investigator on YouTube, and he's actually the private investigator that got hired for this case, allegedly. And he's saying he allegedly got this photo from David's camera. Now, when the murder occurred is up in the air. Some people think it happened in July and June of 2025, and her body decomposed for 4 weeks. But some people say it actually pins back to March 2025, and even David trying to perform some of the music in April, he just couldn't do it. He just couldn't do it without breaking down in tears. Now, during the springtime, and they're saying this is probably when the murder occurred, while the body is in the trunk, David took a trip to Santa Barbara or in the area near that area, and they're thinking, he was allegedly trying to get rid of the body. So that was plan A, to get rid of the body. Plan B was actually to use this burning cage that investigators found inside David's home. This item is something that you see on farms. Like, it's not even legal to where he had it at, right? And this is what ultimately he was going to do with the body. And this burning box cage or whatever it is that you find on a farm was actually ordered with a fake name. But ultimately didn't do it. Kept it in the trunk. Got multiple tickets, and eventually had an odor smell coming from it, got towed. She got found in there. She got identified. Now, this is the kicker. One day after she got identified in that trunk, David takes the lease and the deed of his Texas home and puts it straight in his mother's name. Then he cancels his tour, and then now we're here. where he is about to get charged for murder and a list of charges because she was a minor, all kinds of stuff. And if you haven't seen our previous video on this subject, we talked about how David, if he goes to prison in California, knowing the background of Shalise and what her, the Southsiders and all that, right? All that drama, he's going to have a hard time in prison, in a state prison. If he goes to the feds, might be different. But when it comes to him himself, and this is my opinion, I don't think David is going to last the next week. I think he's going to take himself out before the police come. Having so much time and, to see what's going to happen, he has all the time in the world to take himself out. And he's shown so much signs, so many red flags that he is suicidal. And, it is what it is at this point. I don't want to give my opinion on it because at the end of the day, there was some grooming involved. There was a minor involved, and it is not okay. This dude obviously has a lot of issues. So we got some breaking news coming out of TMZ. They're alleging that this artist David, the Chomo SoundCloud artist David, because I'm gonna call him a Chomo. Him in that relationship with that girl that ended up dead in his Tesla is some Chomo activity. If you don't know what a Chomo is, it's child. I don't need to spell it out for you. We got DVS stuck in the system right now. DVS, I know this case has been a cluster, but with this news and these charges coming forward, how do you feel about this?
I always thought from the very beginning that this case is a little funny when it came to the age difference between this guy and the girl that was found in the Tesla. I don't know. A lot of things that are taking place and that are being presented. It seems like they kind of know, but they don't know. They have enough, but they don't. I don't know. It's confusing to me, to say the least.
This has been ridiculous. And he was on tour. The tour got canceled. The signs are there. They said that her body got frozen. Then they say it didn't got frozen. The facts of the matter is this, that they've been saying all this, but David hasn't been charged. Now TMZ saying likely. The last time we heard likely, and I had to look this up, is when they convicted President Trump.
Oh, wow. That's one hell of a comparison. I don't know. I think that when they do present this evidence, you got to remember that this girl was so badly decomposed. They don't know what the cause of death is. If we're going with her being left in a hot car or whatever, then that changes the game. But if they can't find any toxicology, they can't find any broken bones or anything like that, what do they have to go on? So I think that's what's leaving the room for them not knowing, and there could possibly be an indictment.
I want to talk about a couple things with you, DBS. First thing is motive. What do you think the motive was? Because they're saying that he's getting charged. I'm looking at it as the charges are coming forward. He's going to be getting indicted, and the charges would be multiple. Endangerment to a minor,
Obstruction of justice,
murder. I don't think it's going to be manslaughter. But what is the motive, DVS?
I don't know. I'm trying to understand what's going on. I know like I said, there's a significant age gap, right? Who's to say that? I mean, we don't know. I'm pretty sure they're going to try to do some sort of screening and test. Is it a possibility that she could have been pregnant? Is it a possibility that she was getting a little bit more outspoken about what was taking place? I don't know, but I do know that whatever it wasn't enough to kill this young girl.
Now, if this wasn't a minor and this was a male instead of a female, because it is a female and it is a minor, this is a kid at the end of the day. The internet already, came with the evidence to actually have these charges come forward, like just the internet in general, like Zav Girl, multiple different YouTubers put in a lot of investigative work to try to get David convicted. Now, in any other incidents, like people will be like, oh man, that's snitching. Oh shit, y'all are doing the police work. Y'all might as well just have a badge. But in this case, it's a minor involved, and nobody feels bad that this is finally coming, forward.
No, I get that, Plug. I understand that when it comes to women, children, that changes the game on a lot of things. A lot of people say, I know you gave a scenario the other day on a live. What would you do if you saw a child being kidnapped? Would you help? Would you call the police? I think you have to do both. I think in a situation like that, you would pursue, but you definitely need backup. right? And they get
Right.
paid through our taxpayers' money through, the funding that happens. That's one of the reasons they're there. So why wouldn't I use them for a good reason, right? One of the best reasons possible. Because anybody who says, "Oh, I'm not saying nothing," oh, the code. Now you're a piece of shit because you let a kid get taken. So now you're in a funny situation, right? I think at the end of the day, the child is more important than any other shit that's got going on. That's just me, though.
Now, do you think people were involved with this? It almost seems like it's in like, there's going to be other people involved with this because the car got drove with the body in the trunk is what they're saying. It got drove to, it's almost like they were trying to bury the body in like a remote location in the woods in California.
Well, they're
And
not the
then they end up,
brightest.
yeah, go ahead.
They're not the brightest because there's cameras on there all over that car. I don't know if you can disable those
So
cameras.
I don't think Century Mode was on. This dude's lyrics, it's almost like it's like the R&B version of drill. This dude literally like premeditated everything in his lyrics. It's like YNW Melly all over again.
Yeah, this is something that I heard too. I heard that he, I guess, orchestrated or sang or whatever he does. I don't really listen to new music. I'm more of an old school guy, but from what I'm understanding, a lot of these dudes are saying what they do inside of their lyrics or songs or whatever, and it just goes to show, you guys ain't too bright. Likely to be indicted in Celeste Rivas' murder. Singer David will likely face murder charges for the death of Celeste Rivas, and that's because of the grand jury that's hearing the case will be asked to hand down an indictment, sources tell TMZ. There was a report last month that the grand jury was investigated. There was an investigative grand jury, a grand jury that helps authorities gather evidence, but one that does not indict. An investigative grand jury can be useful to subpoena and then force uncooperative witnesses to testify.
Lock them up.
Our sources say, however, the grand jury that has been hearing witnesses in the Celeste Rivas murder is actually one that will vote on indictments. And multiple sources tell TMZ that authorities, including prosecutor Beth Silverman, believe David was involved in the death of Rivas. TMZ broke the story earlier this month. David said day-to-day manager Robert Morgenroth testified for days. A TMZ reporter heard Morgenroth tell his lawyer in the courtroom hallway Silverman was very pushy as to why he didn't call the police. He said he responded by saying it wasn't his responsibility and his job was to make sure David tour kept going. What? Wow.